Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the International GTOpen Championship. It's grand final weekend with the championships up for grabs in what can only be described as one of the most competitive seasons we have had probably in a long time. With multiple manufacturers, multiple teams, multiple different drivers from different backgrounds that are coming here in order to give their best. We have got certainly a mammoth weekend to bring you, and it all starts here with qualifying. We can only allude to the fact, of course, that free practice got off with a bit of a bang. We, of course, have witnessed vastly various times, of course. It all started, though, in free practice one with the bronze test, where Olymp Racing would go fastest, with Stanislav Jedlinski and Christian Korzanowski at the helm. 1:42.283 was the fastest time there, with Jay Shriebman and Oswaldo Negri on their first appearance this weekend for the AF Corsa team. They were just outside by just over 7/10 of a second, but nevertheless got in close, held on to second. We get Speed Performance, Axel Blom and Steve Jans coming in third in that exchange. Incidentally, Jay Shriebman, last appearing in the GTOpen back in 2021, achieving 2 podiums in 2 solitary races, and also competing in the Ferrari Challenge back in 2018, all the way up to 2021. Oswaldo Negri, though, very much an experienced contender alongside him. Indy Lights Panamericana champion back in 1998, all those years ago, competed in the Mexican F3 back in 1990, and a Sudamericana F3 between 1987 to 1989, and also made a reappearance in 92, as well as appearing in the British Formula 3 Championship. More recently, competing in the IMSA sports car between 2014 and 2018, and 24-hour Le Mans in 2016 with John Pugh and Lawrence Van Thor, and alongside Tomé Ledegar and Francesco Piovanetti in 2020. Is now here in the International GTOpen representing AF Corsa. Free practice 3, though, they hit the reset button after the rain came down after the bronze test. They had to basically throw out all the notes that they had from the setups and had to start all over again. The water washing away the rubber and the grip, so they had to start all over again. Morten Stromstedt, that you can see also on his new appearance, his debut appearance here in the International GTOpen. The family, though, have very, very stark racing interest, because, of course, they do have Noah Stromstedt competing at single-seater level right now, and is a very, very good quality Danish F4 driver that has since confirmed that he's going to be racing in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine next season with RPM Motorsport. Charlie Fagg, of course, who has been at the top of the International GTOpen Championship, he and his colleague, teammate Sam Dehan, looking to try and take the prize this weekend, but they have got certainly some stiff competition. Folks at home, if you're tuning in, my name is, of course, George Morgan. Alongside me is Chris Stevenson. Chris, I tell you what, it feels ripe, it feels rosy. The sun is shining. It's grand finale weekend. Can't wait.
Oh, George, I have so been looking forward to this weekend for such a long time, basically since we left Monza. What a fight we have in store. There are 5 drivers still with a 5 teams, I should say, that still have a mathematical shot at the title going into this final weekend of the season. Although for Maranangeli and Agostini, they need to win both races and hope nobody in front of them scores points. So maybe we're just looking at the top 4, top 3 there. But this is going to be one heck of a fight for the title across this weekend. And for that man, Mikel Pitamba at the wheel of the number 20 SPS Automotive Performance Mercedes. He now enters this weekend as a race winner, because the AF Corsa Ferrari that we called across the line as the winner in Monza after the race was given a 3-second penalty for overtaking under yellow flags, and this car inherited the win, so he and Reese Barr ended up as winners. But unfortunately, Reese Barr isn't with us this weekend. He has decided that his resources need to be put towards 2024, so we look forward to seeing what he's got lined up. And as such, they have flagged in Dominik Baumann, the Austrian driver, the 2012 FIA GT3 champion, who has since got a lot of experience in GT World Challenge and GT Masters, etc. So a very handy driver to have alongside Pitamba as well. And this is on board with the championship leaders. And oh dearie me, we've already got a spin here for the 52 AF Corsa Ferrari. So that's the new entry for this weekend. That's Jay Shriebman at the wheel at the moment. So not a great start to his qualifying, as we see the East Talent Audi, the one that's third in the championship, just waiting for an opportunity to go out on track, as well as the number 17 as well. So quite a few parish notices we're going to have to go through this morning, George. So this car, Marcos Seibert, just been crowned yesterday 2023 ELMS LMP3 champion. Congratulations to him. But of course, those last 2 rounds clashing with the GTOpen. So we had different driver in Monza, but for this weekend, they've brought out the big guns. They have made a statement of intent by bringing in Albert Costa to partner Diego Menchaca in his fight for the championship. 2019 GTOpen champion, but of course has garnered a lot of experience in GT racing, and even this year competing in the World Endurance Championship in LMP2, won the Le Mans 24-hour earlier this year as well. Those are big guns that they're bringing in to what is a mammoth title fight.
And he's not adverse to various different forms of racing. Was a Euro Cup Formula champion in 2009. Renault 2.0 2009 champion. Would go on to return as well to retake that crown in Formula Renault 2.0. WEC Euro Cup and the McGann Trophy. And then GTOpen champion in 2019. One of his more modern exploits here in racing. And of course, a race winner, as you so rightly alluded to, in the 24 Hours of Le Mans in LMP2 class. And now is here this time around to partner up with Diego Menchaca as they look to try and crown a motorpark car in their debut season appearance this season. What a feat that would be, as we now see a Get Speed. Oh, that is certainly Aaron Walker. Of course, Anthony Bartone back in the car this weekend. Unfortunately, Aaron Walker in the gravel trap.
Now, where's that? Is that turns 1 and 2? By the looks of it, looks like the gravel trap there. So he's had a spin for sure and gone backwards into the gravel. We've got yellow flags out at turn 2. Red flag has been brought out. So about 22 minutes left on the clock, or just under 23. And we've got red flags waving to go and retrieve that Get Speed Mercedes. And so he's already gone wide. He's already gone wide at the final corner. So he's got some gravel and dust on his tyres. Probably chucked it into turn 2, expecting to have a bit more grip than he actually had, and has gone backwards into the gravel trap. And as you mentioned, George, Anthony Bartone back at the wheel of that car. We had James Wallace at Monza,
who was heroic, by the way.
He was absolutely fantastic. That battle with the Lamborghini that was on slicks while Wallace was on wets, truly sensational fight. But he has he's got other things going on. He's made it into the final 4 for the Porsche Great Britain Junior shootout as well. So could well be contesting Carrera Cup GP next year. So that's a huge step. Congratulations to him. We wish him all the best for the final 4 shootout. But yes, the car that he was in, not in the best of shape.
No, certainly has not been. And there's the other sister Get Speed car, of course, Almanar Racing, the familiar face that you would have seen from last season taking victory in race 1 back in 2022. But Alfa Zubair, one of its also drivers, of course, Fabian Schiller in the car for the first qualifying session. We will, of course, see Alfa Zubair in the race later on, not to mention qualifying 2 tomorrow. But Alfa Zubair now is on track to become a race winner on 3 consecutive years here at this very circuit in the International GTOpen. The first time he did it was back in 2021, and that was for Lechner Racing alongside Andy Soucek. And a very, very imposing partnership that was indeed. And they'll be looking to come back again to put Get Speed and ensure that Get Speed gets speedy once again here, this time at Barcelona. Because we saw them take race wins already this season. They have certainly been sensational. Took the very first win of the season back at Portimao in our opening round, our opening race, and followed that up with a P2 visit as well in race 2. And since then, winners at Hungaroring in race 1 and P3. So every time they've appeared this season, they've put it on the podium.
Yeah, it's interesting, Alfa Zubair, because he was more associated with the Porsche brand, really, having run Porsche since 2017, really, with the Super Cup and Carrera Cup Deutschland, Carrera Cup Middle East, who won the Porsche GT3 Cup Challenge Middle Eastern Championship 2 years in a row, the 2017-18 and 18-19 campaign, and even came into the GTOpen with the Lechner Porsche that you were alluding to there, the won races in, but yeah, made the switch to Mercedes last year. It was Haupt running the team last year, and now with Get Speed running that Almanar crew since just after the start of this season. I think it was still helped when they were running in Asian Le Mans at the start of this year. They finished second in that championship. Actually, speaking of Asian Le Mans series, we've had a fair few number of teams in this championship announce their campaigns for the Asian Le Mans Series 2023-24 campaign, starting in Sepang in a couple of months. So Optimum with Sam Dehan, they'll be going out there, and it's been a good couple of weeks for Optimum, given that they've got their Le Mans ticket with the best bronze driver in the IMSA Championship at Petit Le Mans last weekend, and they're going for the Asian Le Mans Series in a couple of months as well. Get speed with in fact, Aaron Walker and Anthony Bartone. Hopefully be going better there than it was in this qualifying session so far. And of course Motorpark as well will be out there as well. And it looks like we're going to have green flag running again in just under 2 minutes time.
Yeah, won't be long until we're back out on track. We can also say a big warm welcome return to the Benaldi Motorsport, because we've got two cars now back on the scene with the return of Martin Kodrick and Sandro Muir. Of course, we had Milos Pavlovic and Sampon Jojavanil at our previous round, but now I have since seen the return of the second Benaldi car, as we see the marshals working hard to bring back the gravel into some sort of repair, as opposed to where it was when we saw Anthony Bartone and his colleague Aaron Walker in there just now. Of course, it wasn't Bartone at the wheel on that occasion, but yes, great to see them back and in full flight. And of course, we can also witness Lucas Dunner coming in as well, alongside Morten Stromsted, with the new and returning Team Motorpark team with a third car this weekend. Of course, we spoke about Morten Stromsted and his son Noah, who's doing so well in single-seater racing. Lucas Dunner, though, is another one to watch for multiple reasons, really. If you look back, of course, a former runner-up in the championship in Euro Formula Open racing back in 2020, but has since taken to rally, which is quite extraordinary, and is also a champion in that, Chris.
Yes, wasn't he described as recently retired in Alfredo's press release, and indeed by himself as well? So I can't imagine what it must be like to retire at such an age, but
yeah, very young man, and has actually competed at the highest of levels as well. FIA Formula 3 in 2020 with MP Motorsport, and of course Mitropa Rally Cup champion in 2021. This young man has got talent, and as we alluded to, obviously Euro Formula Open runner-up in the championship back in 2020. So returning here with Team Motorpark this time, alongside the likes of Morten Stromsted. Now, while of course his son Noah is doing so well, Morten Stromsted has history too, competes in radicals. That is where his passion lies, does a lot in radical racing, and is now taking flight this time inside a GT3 Mercedes, representing the Motorpark team as well. So looking forward to seeing how they get on when we go racing this afternoon. And of course, let's see what times they can usher in on the leaderboard. Currently on top of the timing screen at the moment is Yannick Mettler, of course, prior to the red flag coming out, and he was actually on an improvement when the red flag came out. He set a purple middle sector of a 40.2 as he was looking to chase an improvement on top of the 140.108 he had already set. Aaron Walker, who prior to spinning was P2, and Nicola Marinangeli, who's currently third fastest, and Andrea Montemini, who has closed out 2 championships in the International GT Open in its history. Of course, as I alluded to, former Formula 1 reserve driver for Benetton, covering for the likes of Michael Schumacher and helping in terms of the setup in his very first inaugural championship win, Schumacher's first win back in '94. Of course, Montemini being part of the outfit that managed to garner him that title as well. And he's back here representing here in Barcelona. Great to always see Andrea Montemini on circuit.
And we're back green again, so good timing.
Just
there,
like magic.
George. Yes, wonderful. So, yes, Yannick Mettler top, as you mentioned, 140.108, so already well below the benchmark time that was set during yesterday's FP2 session, which was set by the Motorpark Mercedes. It was 141.2, so we're already 1.1 seconds quicker than that, and that's the effect of fresh tyres for you. And I'm sure these cool conditions actually working out quite nicely for them as well. But yeah, they've done all that work to get the heat into the tyres, and suddenly they've got to do it all over again. And we've got 22 minutes left in the session. And the one thing we've got to keep an eye out on, George, as well, as it is Albert Costa at the wheel of that 17 Motorpark Mercedes, so see what he can do. But of course, we haven't just got the overall battle that's super intense. We've still got 4 teams in contention for the Pro-Am title as well, 6 still in contention for the Am Championship as well. So there is an awful lot to be looking out for across this weekend. A championship that's just been so wonderfully competitive, with lots of drama and twists and turns at every corner. And somehow this team, this Optimum team, has been leading it for the majority of the season, actually. I think they haven't lost the championship lead since they won the endurance race at Spa. And of course, their first win of the season. They've had a second one at Paul Ricard as well. The Motor Park team hasn't won since the opening race of the, opening round of the season, I should say, in Portimao. So let's see if Menchaca and Albert Costa can change that. But Charlie Fagg on board the number 69 Optimum Motorsport McLaren 720S down into turn 1.
Yeah, fantastic to see this view as well. A very, very physical motion you can see as the car makes its way through the first sector, and always imperative to ensure that you have a good qualifying run. The Red Zebra looking to try and strike the while the iron's hot again, extending slightly though to the left-hand side. Now whether the stewards take a little bit of a dim view at that, we'll have to wait and see as we now check out the number 65 Motor Park car making its way around with Timo Rumpkeil at the helm. Team boss, of course, at Motor Park. Alongside him, of course, Heiko Neumann. And there we see the Red Zebra there in the midst of trying to pull together a fast run. Heading down now through towards the next left, you'll then take the rise, heading up the hill, before then hitting Campsted, a very fast right-hander. And of course, we allude to, obviously, just the sheer combative nature of this Red Zebra. They have fought the highest and toughest of battles. We alluded back to Paul Ricard, where of course they came together with the Oregon car belonging to Pierre-Louis Chauvet. Sam de Haan very nearly caught in that motion as well. And then of course we hark back to Hungaroring, where they came toe-to-toe with Nicola Marinangelis. We just see the McLaren just unfortunately playing havoc with track limits again. Again, the stewards probably will take a look at that as they head through back Sambadel. And here is a replay, and that is the Vinaldi car of Sampon Joe Vanil, just uprooting the rear end, heading up the hill, funny enough, towards back Sambadel.
So this Optimum team, they got Sean Goff in the garage for today and yesterday as well, team principal of the Optimum outfit, to hopefully see them win the championship, or at least take a march forward in it, because I believe he's off to Donington on Sunday, because they're also going for the British GT4 championship as well. So it's a big weekend for the Optimum crews. We've got Simon Riker on board the number 23 East Talent Audi, and slightly worrying for that East Talent team is we all came here expecting this to be one of the best circuits, if not the best circuit of the season for the Audi R8. But they've come here, and actually it's not been all that great, as we've got a spin for Lewis Proctor in the Greystone McLaren. That looked like turn 3. But yes, this Audi not quite performing to the level that we, or even the team, quite anticipated. So let's see if they've been able to turn something around overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. Charlie Fagg now holding the top time with a 1:39.830, and I can tell you, folks, that of course very much surpasses the Team Baron Motorsport that we saw before. Incidentally, speaking to some of the engineering crew, they were sort of expecting to see times in the low 40s. We've now seen a time in the 39, so here we go. It's getting more and more competitive. Albert Costa third fastest, Fuminelli in second fastest, who proves to be a great qualifier and already advancing on the time that we saw from last season as well, which certainly did lead to a 1:43 on that occasion, as we now see more cars improving as well. Carol Bash also finding time in that middle sector. He's looking to try and garner himself a competitive time to join the top 3 that again is so tight and close together. 2 drivers at the top end. You can just see there, David Fuminelli, Charlie Fagg, both within the same 1/10 of a second, 93 thousandths between the 2.
Yeah, so it's 39.8, as you mentioned there. So last year when we were on the old layout, it was 43s. When we were testing at the start of the year, we were doing 38.9 was the best time, and that was set by the Almanar Mercedes, actually. So maybe there's a little bit of time still to come, but of course testing conditions can be really quite different. But Fabian Schiller on a pretty decent lap at the moment. Purple in the first sector, and was dangerously close to tipping a wheel in the gravel on the exit of turn 5. but the Mercedes Works driver well on his way here with a good lap brewing. We have times coming in as well. Pierre-Louis Chauvet in the Oregon Lamborghini, a little bit further back in the championship fight, but still mathematically in it. Currently fourth fastest, and Schiller's going faster again. It was a personal best in the middle sector, and actually faster than Fag's middle sector on the provisional pole lap that he set. So it's at 39.830 that Schiller is chasing. There's a decent lap for Simon Riker as well. He's currently 11th fastest, but Schiller through that final corner, and he'll put his foot flat to the floor on that 6.2 litre V8 Mercedes and goes fastest, but not by much at all. 22 thousandths of a second to do a 139.808. And at the moment, there's only just over a tenth of a second separating the top three.
Yeah, Fabian Schiller, incidentally, race winner here in the GT World Challenge in the Sprint Championship at this very circuit for GT World Challenge's final round in their championship too. So Schiller once again showing that same pace he displayed in that championship fight as well. 22 thousandths ahead of Charlie Fagg, who currently sits second. Fuminelli still there in third. However, fast in the speed trap, Jamie Stanley incidentally making his way down in towards turn one, as we now await to see more cars come across the line. Aaron Walker 8th fastest, Lewis Proctor now demoted to 9th. Yannick Mettler remains at the pits, now 6th fastest, with Pierre-Louis Chauvet, who's also looking to bring the Oregon team into the championship equation. Obviously, they're currently sat 5th at this stage and just under 3/10 off the pace of the times at the very top. Personal improvements from Kiki Satnana in the AM category. Remember that he's partnered with Adamo Seika, the team boss at Get Speed Performance, also representing them as a driver, and be looking to hopefully see if they can bring some big results to the table. But a 139.808 for Fabian Schiller. Is that quick? Is he quick? We'll wait and see later on. Still 40 minutes and 55 to go.
Oh, wow, it's certainly quick, George, but is it quick enough? That's the main question, isn't it? It's just over halfway through this qualifying session.
Plenty of time to go.
Yes, exactly. So it's... And do you know what? As if having a four-way title fight wasn't hard enough for Optimum, for Motorpark, for East Talent and for Oregon, but suddenly you've got this Almanar monster that turns up as well and will clearly be fighting at the front of the field, just to throw a spanner in the works as well. So there's a lot for these drivers to have to contend with in this one as well. This is the 27A, of course, Ferrari that is currently leading the Pro-Am standings. Polcini and Eddie Cheever. Congratulations to Eddie Cheever, by the way. Got married last weekend to his partner Albie. Congratulations to the new Mr. and Mrs. Cheever.
Drove a nice car there too.
He really did, yes. Yes, he borrowed that from his teammate in GT World Challenge, I believe. It was a very nice looking thing indeed. And yeah, I hope he didn't put a scratch on it. And yes, it's a lovely place for a honeymoon here. This is the circuit to Barcelona, Catalonia as well. So
they're on the cusp of a championship of their own.
They are. Well, that's if they can beat these guys, Carol Bash and Marcin Jadlinski in the Olymp car. That car's just come alive in the second half of the season. They've taken 4 Pro-Am wins since the second race in the Hungaroring, and they are nipping at the heels of that AF Corsa Ferrari. So anything can happen yet. Of course, we've still got the Kessel Ferrari and the Get Speed Mercedes still involved in that fight as well. But realistically, we're looking at the top 2 in that championship. Lewis Proctor back out on track after that spin we saw earlier on for the Scotsman. And, on his way now is 4th amongst the Pro-Am drivers at the moment, as Charlie Fagg gets back out on track and looks to find those 22 thousandths of a second he's missing to Fabian Schiller.
Yeah, he certainly will do, and you certainly would not want to write off Charlie Fagg. Many of the cars coming into the pits for a change of perspective, a change of boots as well, as I'm seeing them actively making changes to the Olymp Racing Audi R8 LMS through the window. Quite a few cars just taking brief moments in the pit lane. I could see the SPS performance of Yannick Mettler and Dexter Muller just waiting to go back out again. And in fact, they are heading back out now. So quite a few cars are going to put in their final stints. 12 minutes still to go of the round, 12 minutes and 15, if you want to be precise, as we now see the red zebra make its way around Seat Corner and then heading down through towards Birth Curve, which will take them up the hill towards Campser at the top of the crest. We're right on board now with Charlie Fagg. as he now, as you can hear, just downshifting steadily, slowly but surely heading through this next segment. Now, you want to be careful of that specific sector. Sausage curbs exist both left and right on that specific section of circuit. So makes his way through Campset, smoothly does it, and then down towards the adjusted Locator Bend, which formerly was a very, very tight hairpin. A very opportune moment as well for overtaking, especially if you could go late on the brakes, be a little bit more daring. Nowadays, though, you carry the speed. You can still potentially overtake there, but it is still very tricky because you have certainly cars able to hang it around the outside or hang it around the inside in order to try and defend the place, as we now see him take the adjusted right-hander coming through turn 13 at Europcar, heading through now New Holland, the final bend as well. The circuit of Barcelona, Catalonia, that holds the Spanish Grand Prix as well as it has done for so many years, and of course opened up its very first event, remember, the Olympic Games back in '92, where of course they had the endurance bike race started on the start-finish line at this very circuit. Charlie Fag now making his way in towards turns 1 and 2, a big lap potentially to be dialed in here, but needs to make sure that he can at least try and disrupt Fabian Schiller, and if he has put new boots on, he needs to put them to work now.
Very wide again in turn 3. We saw when we were running on board with him earlier, we saw him do something very similar, but it is purple in the first sector for Charlie Fag. So that it's game on, isn't it, for pole position at the moment. 10.5 minutes left on the clock, and I do wonder what they're going to do with the tyres, because they're telling me that there's so much strain being put through the tyres that they're only going to be able to get one good lap out of them. But maybe the temperatures are going to counteract that. So this could be it after this lap for Charlie Fag. So he's got to get it done, and he's got to make sure he doesn't do track limits at any point on this lap as well. So Charlie Fag on his way now towards turn 10, approaching the final sector. We'll get the second split as well. It's purple again in the middle sector, taking an awful lot of that curb down at turn 10. Charlie Fag here, the McLaren development driver, fighting for his first overall title. He's won a class title in the GT4 European Series a couple of years ago. Has been pushing an awful lot in GT4 machinery, but since arriving in the GTOpen for this year with Sam Dehaan, they have been an absolutely incredible pairing. Comes across the line now, and it is fastest by over half a second, a 39, sorry, 2:19. That's an almighty lap from Charlie Fag. I wonder if anybody else is going to be able to make the same gains as that.
Well, that first sector was blistering. The 29.6 that he managed to unlock heading out to the first few corners was absolutely sensational, and he was dialed in heading through the final two bends, but he's lost the purple second sector. Who's taking it? It's Yannick Mettler, but coming across the line, Team Oregon's Pierre-Louis Chauvet, who now goes fourth fastest, but I've got my eyes peeled here as now we see Pierre-Louis Chauvet make his way down through towards turn 1. Yannick Mettler, though, setting a 40.106 in sector 2, and is looking to perhaps hook up a sensational third sector as well. He's done a 29.742, which is not far off where, of course, we saw Fag in sector 1. As now we wait and see, Yannick Mettler does go second fastest, and only 3.5 tenths away from Charlie Fag's time as well. A super lap there for the SPS Performance Automotive team, who have got Dexter Miller also at the realm, and they are looking to try and bring in some of their best form in the second half of this season. And Yannick Mettler, who has been a staunch contender, certainly competing here at the GTOpen over the last few seasons, of course, in the past, has driven for the Bentleys as well here in this very championship, but also competing across GT World Challenge and in here in the International GTOpen in the Mercedes, and he looks extremely dialed in this weekend.
Yeah, taking Pro-Am pole back away from David Fuminelli as well, crucially with the overall front row. And that 54 Carbon CBRX by SBS Automotive Performance Mercedes running very, very well in that championship. They have won a race in their class so far this year, sadly not quite in the championship fight going into this final round. Nor indeed is the Fuminelli Giusse Ferrari as well. In fact, top of the contenders at the moment would be the two Nicos in 38, the P7 car at the moment, with Cameron Bash in there as well. That middle sector not quite working out for Yannick Mettler there, so kind of backs up the point that maybe you can't quite get the second lap out of the tyres. We'll see what it is through the final corner as well. It was right up towards the gravel on the way into 13, through the final corner and across the line. Again, another 6.2 litre V8 engine to punch down the straight, and yes, lost quite a bit of time in that final sector there as well. So it remains second fastest and provisional Pro-Am pole for now.
Yeah, it certainly does. Axel Blom also improving in the first two sectors, 30.105 and a 49.28 in sector 2. And he, of course, as well competed here last season at this very circuit. Was actually battling against the likes of Kevin Gillardoni, who was represented in the Oregon team. I remember them going side by side through towards turn 1. Blom improving to 14th fastest on the board as well. Got a few cars out on track that are looking to also ushering some positive laps. Jean-Claude Sarda also making his way around the circuit. Needs to try and improve in the AM category of things as well. There's East Talent Audi that have been certainly some of the most consistent drivers all season long. It's their mere consistency that has brought them to within the championship fight as well. Simon Riker at the wheel, yet to score a win this season, this pairing, but nonetheless have featured in the top 3 on many an occasion. We look back as well with fondness of that moment that they had with the Optimum Motorsport team at the endurance race back at Spa-Francorchamps. What a finish that was. Simon Riker and Christopher Haase looking to try and bring the plaudits here for the Audi R8 LMS team as they look to charge their way around this circuit of Barcelona. Great opportunity for them this weekend to certainly score big and maybe even take a first win this season, Chris.
It would be very timely, wouldn't it, as Riker just gets it into the gravel on the exit of 5. And of course, Audi have said that for the foreseeable future, they're not going to be building any new GT3 cars. So it'd be nice to go out with a bang on this one and take the championship here. Of course, with Audi Works driver Christopher Haase, we'll see later in the race this afternoon. And yes, yet to take a win, as you mentioned, but so consistent. And that's been really their forte. But I think they've realised now that they need to just go for broke and make sure they get a win under their belts to make sure they stay in this title fight. Just under 5 minutes left in the session now. Carol Bash going for the Pro-Am honours as well. Currently 10th overall and 5th in class. See where this puts the Polish driver 3rd overall, but just missing out on that Pro-Am pole by 34 thousandths of a second. And see if Simon Riker improved on that previous lap. He did not, so he remains 12th fastest.
Yeah, only 34 thousandths away from Yannick Mettler, Carol Bash. That's a very good lap indeed, as we now watch the East Talent Audi. Simon Riker putting it 12th fastest on his previous run, but a purple per sector now from Pierre-Louis Chauvet, or should I say, sorry, David Fuminelli, incidentally, putting in a purple first sector. Currently sat in 7th place. We know that Fuminelli can deliver fast laps as well. Here he is in car number 11, representing here for Kessel Racing, and almost an almighty 1.5 tenths up on the best time set in place here by Charlie Fagg as they head down through towards Lakea Bend. Needs to hook this up to the inside. He's gone quicker, just over 0.3 of a second as well. This is certainly a sensational lap here from David Fuminelli, the Italian driver who featured in the Euro Formula Open Championship all those years ago, who has certainly brought to the table stellar pole position laps in the past, and Kessel Racing are hoping that he can deliver one here with 3 minutes and 30 to go. Heading through the New Holland corner now in the Pro-Am class. Can David Fuminelli take it to the top? He comes across the line, he does, a 1:39.037, and well, faster than Charlie Fagg by nearly 2 tenths.
That's a Pro-Am car on pole position. Of course, when you've got the Pro in the car, that is very much an option. But now Albert Costa here, 6 tenths down in the Motorpark Mercedes on this particular lap, but still 5th fastest as it stands. Let's see where this lap time puts him through those final couple of corners. Flat out through the penultimate corner at 13. Dab of the brakes. Oh, it's wrestling with the wheel there through the final corner. Runs it out nicely wide, gets across the line, and now, was that an improvement? It was not, by about 0.2 of a second in the end, so he remains 5th fastest. And Albert Costa, I mean, I know he's a fantastic driver and everything, but the Motorpark really just ring him up and say, excuse me, Mr. Costa, we have a big championship fight that we need you to help us win. And he went, yeah, sure, no problem. Big pressure on Albert Costa's shoulders.
It definitely is, and could be a Costa-Lee venture as well. We'll have to wait and see.
Oh,
Fabian Schiller,
Lord, it's too early for that, George.
in the second sector. So we alluded to, obviously, the brilliant lap by David Fuminelli, who's on the cusp of perhaps nailing a second pole position this season. The first one being back at Portimao in race 1. Fabian Schiller, who, like I said, winner here in the GT World Challenge in their final race of the season. Looking to bring the Almanar racing car for Get Speed Performance to the top. Comes across the line, does go fastest, and breaks into the 138. It's Fabian Schiller. Is he quick? He certainly is.
Yes, and faster than that car went in pre-season testing as well by a tenth and a bit. So definitely the lap time's coming down here at 2/10 to Fuminelli, and Charlie Fagg's in the pit, so he's not going to be bringing anything back. I think that might be all she wrote, and Fabian Schiller leaving it to the last moment, really. With a sensational lap, puts it on pole for now. We'll see if anyone else is putting in the lap times. I mean, he's still pushing out there. He's within a tenth in the first sector. We'll see if the tyres can live with it throughout the remainder of the lap.
Yeah, Fabian Schiller, another stellar performance, also a pole sitter at Portimao at the very start of the season when they qualified for race 2. And Alfaisal Al-Zubair, I'm sure, will be absolutely thrilled with that. Another potentially, prosaic performance from the Almanar racing team. Of course, the outfit that have already won here in this championship this season as well on multiple occasions. The first one coming back at Portimao, as we alluded to, took a second one back at Hungaroring. They'd love to make it 3 this season, maybe even 4, depending on how the weekend goes, as Schiller now rounds Bank Sambadel and heads down through towards the New Holland corner. Just looking ahead, no striking improvements there. Morten Stromstead, incidentally, going green in the first sector already for the new Motorpark cars. Found green as well in the second sector, 41.2, which is certainly faster than Samporn Zhao Zhauvanil's previous time. And we'll look to try and hook this up heading through the final corner as Schiller comes across the line to finish that second run after he took the pole lap, the one prior, as now the clock strikes down to 0. That is officially the end of the timer here in qualifying. So now, if you cross the line, there will be no improvements here levied for those performers. Now looking to perhaps add one last chance to dance here at Barcelona. Morten Stromstead coming across the line can only muster 23rd fastest despite improving in all 3 sectors. No other improvements seen in the first sector, or at least the second sector. It certainly looks like it's going to be Schiller who takes pole.
Certainly is. And we'll have championship leaders Charlie Fagg and Sanderhan starting in 3rd, Albert Costa second in the championship. Well, Mancharka's second in the championship, Costa driving it in 6th, Chauvet, and then 3rd in the championship, Simon Reinke starting in 11th. Brian Pole, of course, going to Fuminelli, and Giuseppe Cipriani actually just took back the AM pole position from Andrea Montemini there in the last few seconds, 18th place overall. And of course, he's going for the AM championship as well. He's 4th in the standings there at the moment.
Yeah, and it's getting very competitive in all 3 classifications, whether it be the overall, the AM, or the Pro-Am. You can bet your bottom dollar, folks, we're going to be in for one hellacious fight. Fabian Schiller, though, proving that he is a cut amongst the best of them, with David Fuminelli in second. Another sensational qualifying from David Fuminelli, once again showing his pace, but 2/10 off the best. Fabian Schiller back to the top alongside Alfaisal Al-Zubair. Charlie Fagg, though, right in the midst of it. He is, of course, within 0.4 of a second as well, 3rd fastest in this conglomerate. They will be on the 2nd row as they take the rolling start later on this afternoon. But certainly no qualms for Adamo Seika's team at Get Speed or that of Almanar Racing. They're going to be celebrating this illustrious performance that they have managed to put into place. And Schiller looking to bring it home perhaps later on in a quest to once again take victory as they did a year ago in 2022. Can they take the opening race win like they did last season?
Well, they're certainly in a good position for it, but here are the results.
Yeah, let's take you through it, folks. Fabian Schiller, your pole sitter, and we'll head into the race this afternoon on top, with David Fuminelli joining him on the front row as they take the rolling start. Charlie Fagg in 3rd place, with Yannick Mettler in 4th, Karel Basch in 5th, Albert Costa on his return in 6th fastest, with Pierre-Louis Chauvet in 7th, Nicolo Schiro in 8th, with Lewis Proctor in 9th, Mikel Pitamba qualifying in 10th place. 11th place going to Simon Riker in East Talent, Aaron Walker in 12th, and Nicola Marinangeli 13th, Jamie Stanley 14th, Axel Blom in 15th, with Pietro Pirolini in 16th place, Marco Polcini 17th, Giuseppe Cipriani in 18th place, Andrea Montemini qualifying 2nd AM, 19th overall, Kiki Saknana in behind him, Timo Revkal qualifying in 21st, Ernst Kirkmeyer in 22nd, Morten Stromsted 23rd, Sampon Jouvenil 24th, Jean-Claude Sada 25th, Pascal Bachmann 26th, with Alessandro Cosi 27th, Jay Schriebman in 28th, Stanislav Jedlinski in 29th place. So there we have it, the sun shining across the circuit here at Barcelona, and certainly the sun is shining as far as Fabian Schiller is concerned. Almanar Racing and Get Speed are going to be starting at the front row for the second time this season, their second pole position as well this season, looking to perhaps mustering certainly a strong performance. The spectators watching on certainly enjoying the racing action that's on point this morning and later on this afternoon as well, as it will be all weekend. But nonetheless, we have witnessed certainly a masterful performance here in qualifying, and maybe a little teaser as to what we'll see later into the weekend. Charlie Fagg, though, coming home third fastest in qualifying this weekend for Optimum Motorsport in their quest for the championship title here at Barcelona. Let's see what they can bring to the table from third place in qualifying. Second place going to David Fuminelli, leading the Pro-Am contingent here so far this weekend. Frederick Yusei will be back alongside him as well later on this afternoon. But no one could stop the man who went fastest. It's Fabian Schiller. He'll be joined by Alfaisal Al-Zubair as well at Almanar Racing by Get Speed. And Schiller will be standing by with Alfredo Filipponi for an interview here with us now. We'll hopefully be hearing from them very shortly, but still at the moment, the spectators watching on and taking a good view of the cars. Here's Schiller.
Back to the GTOpen and back on pole.
Yeah, feels similar to last year, you know. Last year we came, did a guest start, did the same. But yeah, I have to thank the team. The car was great again. It's a pleasure to drive here. Another beautiful Saturday morning.
And of course, nothing to lose, nothing to gain, so you go for victory.
No, of course we go for the victory. That's definitely our goal. We try to get 2 podiums out of it, but it will be tough with the 22nd handicap we have for this afternoon. After our previous guest starts in Portimao and Budapest, where we finished every race on a podium, 20 seconds is for sure hard, but yeah, we'll do it. We will give it everything, and Faisal is doing a great job as always, so I think we have a chance, yeah.
We'll see later. Well done for now.
Thank you very much.
Well, the qualifying result was the same last year. Will the race result be the same as last year? Join us at 5 past